is where we get into the nuts and bolts. How do you actually implement zero trust? So NIST has 6 steps. These are all word salad. I'm warning you now. We're going to try to translate them into English. Identify actors on the enterprise. That's William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy. No, wrong enterprise. Who are your subjects? Who are your users? You need to know who is going to use what. Identify assets owned by the enterprise. What do you have? The inventory that we always talk about is remarkably important with zero trust because
that's how you start.
And if you don't have a policy for it, you can't access it. Instead of it's on the network so you can access it, with zero trust, if you don't have a policy for it, it doesn't exist.
Right. Yeah, it's a whitelist approach, which means by definition, you need to know everything, everything in your network, all your assets, all your actors.
This is also part of why it's going to be iterative. Just in the real world, you're going to miss things, and that's okay. You find it, you fix it. Identify key processes and evaluate risks associated with execution. Again, you need to figure out what you do and then figure out how you're going to do it more safely.
Yeah, and one thing, if you could go back real quick, it says inventory and rank your business processes and data. Ranking is very important here because what that's going to allow you to do is prioritize, given that this is an iterative process, prioritize what absolutely needs to be focused on first. It might seem obvious, but when you're actually trying to start from square one, it's really important to first identify everything and then start ranking them.
Formulate policies for ZTA candidate. Those policies are important, as you'll see in a couple of slides. Those policies determine what's going to happen. Which services or processes you target for initial zero trust migration will depend on several factors. The importance of the process to the organization, the group of subjects affected, and the current state of resources used for workflow. You have to assess the value of assets and workflows based on risk.
Right.
You identify candidate solutions. Once you've identified a list of potential candidates, create and consider a list of solutions to implement. There are companies that specialize in this. Most of them specialize in cloud security, and there is no turnkey solution. That makes zero trust different from previous network architectures. If you wanted a network and you didn't know what you wanted, and you just bought Microsoft, or to some degree Linux, you were going to be okay. It was all going to tie together.
In the past is what you're saying.
In the past. It was all, it would work.
I assume you're talking Active Directory,
even before
licenses,
that,
servers.
Even before that, you just had servers, you had licenses, it walked you through creating the users, it walked you through, in the bad old days, primary domain controllers and backup domain controllers. It walked you through all of those things. Those things, by the way, with Active Directory are thankfully things of the past. You don't have to do that anymore. But when you first set up Windows Server, it walks you through what role this is going to have and how to do it. That is less true of zero trust architecture. Now, that said, Active Directory can be a part of zero trust architecture, but it's not a complete solution.
Yeah, arguably an important part, but it's certainly not everything, as we'll get into.
And then initial deployment and monitoring. When you've chosen a candidate workflow and identified which ZTA solutions you'll be applying, you can start deploying. And again, this will be an iterative process. You'll see what works, what doesn't work, and you're going to apply it. So